everybody. So we are back in the hospital and Samara is very sick. It is unclear what is happening with her and many tests are being run. We came into the hospital yesterday because she started vomiting on Monday and then she stopped vomiting after we switched her to Pedialyte. But then Tuesday morning she was vomiting the Pedialyte and her medications, and she appeared to be more swollen, and we had been observing that she was real lethargic, really sleepy, and so we brought her to the emergency room. While in the emergency room, I observed her stomach getting distended. It was swelling quickly, and I also noticed that she had not peed in the entire time we were there after several hours, which is unlike her. They had did an x-ray, and in the x-ray they saw that her bladder was full, but she wasn't peeing. And we've never had an issue of her not being able to pee, so that was new. And then we also saw that her belly was big, and so they needed to suction her stomach, which I didn't even know that was a thing. So they put what's called an OG tube in her mouth. It's basically a tube that just goes from the mouth down into the esophagus and to the stomach. And they connected suction tubing and they suctioned her stomach, and what came out was primarily mucus and blood. It wasn't a lot though, and they figured that the belly distension was because of the bladder. So they put a Foley catheter to make her pee, and she has been peeing a whole lot. So that was one of the questions, is why wasn't she peeing? Since then, this has escalated really quickly. She's in the main ICU. We first were in the step-down ICU yesterday, but overnight her hemoglobin and her platelets, which are her blood counts, dropped drastically, and a lot of the labs that they did indicated that she was bleeding somewhere, and they don't know exactly where. The only blood they have seen is coming from her stomach, because they're still suctioning her stomach every so often. And so they can't do an endoscopy today, which is when they take a camera down through her mouth, through the esophagus and down into her stomach for an upper GI exam. They can't do it today because her platelets are too low. So she had to get a platelet and blood transfusion today, and the goal is tomorrow morning to do an endoscopy to see what's going on in her stomach. And over the last 24 hours, Samara's skin has gotten drastically worse. She's having some type of response. Her skin is doing some strange things, which we have been observing over the last couple of weeks. She has a horrible rash that is in different parts of her body. It's on her bottom, which has spread to her legs. Her neck is raw. Her back has rashes. Her face has rashes. And it's gotten considerably worse over the last 24 hours. Even over the last 12 hours, they've been monitoring her very closely and taking pictures of the progression, because they're not sure what's causing it. Her vital signs are stable. So that is, her heart rate, her oxygen levels, her blood pressure, all of that is stable. But they're not sure exactly what's going on, and they've been, trying to rule out different infections. So far, we know it's not a UTI. And they're still waiting for blood cultures and sputum cultures, but they don't think that it's anything in her trach that's causing this. And she doesn't have the typical responses as if it were a blood infection, but they're still waiting for those results as well. So it's a lot. She is very sick right now, despite the fact that her vital signs are stable. There's a lot going on with her, and her labs are still all over the place. So they're running a series of tests to check her immune system and just to follow up with like her hemoglobin and her platelets and those type of things. It's a lot of different tests that they're running right now. And then tomorrow she'll have the endoscopy to get a better look at her stomach, which you all know I had mentioned in my past video that she's been having GI issues. And all these admissions since November have been related to albumin and stomach issues. So I'm glad that we're getting this test done today. Also, they did a CT scan and of her brain and a CT scan of her abdomen earlier, also looking to see if they could find causes to some of what was happening, and they didn't see anything different from previous scans. So that's why they are also now going to do the endoscopy and possibly a colonoscopy, I think they said maybe. So that's basically what's been happening. It's been extremely stressful these last 24 hours. And coming to the hospital is always an overwhelming experience. But through it all, we know that God is in control. He has protected Samara this far, and I am certain that He will continue to do so. And we trust His timing and His plan for her life. And so we request that you pray. Please pray that the cause of this current situation is found and treated, and that she doesn't get any worse. Please pray for our family. We've been through a lot, and we love this child so much. And so thank you for watching. Blessings to all.